Hi everyone, welcome back to more YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. And a strange one this actually. It's all about bullshit coming out again from Talksport Radio. That is right. It didn't actually involve a Newcastle player directly, but it's something I want to bring forward to a Newcastle player because I listened to it, I watched a clip of it really, if I'm honest with you. And there were some good points made by one of the guys, some ridiculous points made by one of the guys, but there was a name that didn't come up in the conversation, and I'm going to talk about it right now. So it was all about centre-backs, and it was about Virgil Van Dijk, and people accusing Virgil Van Dijk's standards and quality of dropping. It's been out in the press recently, I think certainly the Dutch press, that they feel his better years are behind him and it may be time for him to step aside. And I don't disagree with that. I think Virgil Van Dijk has been an unbelievable centre-half in this Premier League. He's a brilliant footballer. You know, I remember even when he was at Celtic and my dad's team, and you could see how good he was then. He went to Southampton, he was class, and then he went to Liverpool and he kicked on another level. He's been one of the best centre-backs in world football for a good few years now as well, in terms of his awareness, his positional sense, his movement, his leadership abilities, everything. But those powers have definitely waned over the last few years. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And can you call Virgil Van Dijk one of the best centre-backs in the league right now? I'm not sure that you can. And this was the conversation that the two lads were having on Talksport. It was Adi Aladipo and Rory Jennings, who is obviously famous for his Haaland won't score 20 goals line, which I'm sure he lives to regret to this very day. But they were talking about Virgil Van Dijk, and fair play to Rory. Rory was saying that you can't even say Virgil van Dijk is probably one of the best three centre-backs in the league anymore. And obviously this AD lad got really animated and kicked off about it. And then Rory Jennings, rightly so, pulled up, John Stones and Ruben Diaz at Man City and said they were better players, they were better centre-halves than him right now, to which this guy obviously disputed it. AD disputed it. Now, they were talking at length about this, and I think AD was trying to say that because Van Dijk was so far ahead of everybody else, and he was, to be fair, at one point, that his standards, started to drop. And that's why the other players have kind of caught him up, and that was the argument really. But the truth of the matter is, his legs are going. You put anybody with pace up against him, like Alexander Isak showed a couple of weeks ago, and he doesn't have a clue what to do. So they're talking about all these centre halves, and there was one name that didn't go into the mix there. And again, it just shows you the pure blind tunnel vision blinker style punditry and discussion that goes on with these top six or greedy six type clubs. They're talking about best centre-backs in the league, and not one mention of a lad who was in the best defensive unit in the Premier League last season, not one mention of a lad who's in his early 20s, not one mention of a lad who's one of the best centre-halves in the world probably right now, and that is Sven Botman. Sven Botman is right up there with the top five Premier League centre-halves in my opinion. There's no doubt about that. We saw yesterday against Brentford, when Sven came in, just how good he was, how good he makes that Newcastle United side, how he drags everybody else up to his level. People at Holland are talking about Sven Botman being in there to replace Virgil van Dijk, alongside the likes of De Ligt and people like that. And rightly so. Sven Botman is the future of Dutch football in that centre-half position, and he's the future of Newcastle United. I can see him being one of the best centre-halves that's ever played in the Premier League. I see shades of Nemanja Vidic at his prime in there, through Botman. That's how good the lad is. The way he reads the game, his movement, his pace over 10 yards, his ability in the air, his leadership at such a young age. He's a fucking world-class centre-half. He's a Rolls Royce of a player, and even at 23, 24, whatever he is, he's got so many more levels that he can go to. The fact that these guys didn't even mention him in the conversation, I mean, they might have mentioned him in the more detailed one, but I didn't watch it because I didn't fancy my ears bleeding. That little clip, if that was an insight, I don't think they would have mentioned him at all. Let me know in the comments below if they did, and I may be being too harsh on him. But Sven Botman is 100% one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League, no doubt about it. And going back to Virgil van Dijk as well, there's a lot of hyperbole about these players, Virgil van Dijk and even Mo Salah and guys like that. And as good at players as they've been, it's this younger generation that weren't around to see how fucking brilliant Sol Campbell was at his prime, how fucking brilliant Rio Ferdinand was at his prime, how fucking brilliant John Terry was at his prime, Steven Gerrard, Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, players like that. Somebody even turned around the other day and said Wayne Rooney's not even all that, and you're thinking, what are you talking about? This is football heritage history. Go back and watch the footage of these players, and see how good they are. It's these weird little FIFA fanboys that just because somebody's got a card with numbers on it, they think that person is the best player who's ever played the game. And listen, in this current crop of players, yes, they've been very good players and they've been up at the top of their game, but Virgil van Dijk is slipping massively slipping. And you can see that the way Liverpool concede goals now. Sven Botman is a better player than Virgil van Dijk right now, and arguably he may even be a better player than him when his career comes to an end. It's a bold statement, but it's a hill that I'm willing to die on. So that's me done with my rant for that today. I just think that we need to have more respect given to players like Sven Botman on our side, because of the quality that they've shown in the Premier League, the toughest league in the world, and Sven Botman will excel, I'm sure, at national football as well. And all these guys, the only time they'll talk about them is probably when they're linking them with moves away from Newcastle, because that's the kind of shit that they pull. But let us know in the comments below what you think about Sven Botman. Am I being stupid if I got black and white blinkers on, or is he one of the best centre-halves in the league already, even at this young age? And this is the kind of thing you like as well. Like the video, consider subscribing. We're over 5,000 subs now, loads of room for you. And if you fancy becoming a member, smash that button as well. Mark's got loads of little tricks for you and goodies in there. You may even get early access to rants as well, so well worth it. Only for $1.99 a month. So smash that button, come and join us, guys. Have a better day wherever you are. We'll be back with some more Newcastle United crack soon, and maybe a rant in general just like this. See you later. Cheers, bye.